Now, we may be on different sides of the Affordable Care Act as far as the good it does versus the ill that it does, but there can be no dispute that the Republicans don't know their ass from a hole in the ground as far as the Affordable Care Act is concerned, and health care for the country in general. Now, I say that because they fought President Obama when he got it in there. He didn't get a single Republican vote either in the House or in the Senate. And as a matter of fact, Joe Lieberman, when he dies, may he rest in hell, stopped them from putting through the single payer option, which if that had been placed into the program, we wouldn't be talking about repeal and replace right now, because single payer, if for those of you who don't know what single payer it is, it's basically Medicare, so that the government is responsible for the payment of the service providers and the doctors, etc. You go in, you give them, your ACA card, and I don't know if you got to pay a deductible when you use Medicare. I guess you do, but you pay your office visit the deductible, and everything else is basically taken care of. Okay. Now, Mr. Caldwell, in this particular segment, is trying to defend a bad situation, and Monique Presley basically starts nailing him on it, giving him numbers. And if this was a one-on-one, he definitely would have lost. I'm going to play the entire clip so that you can actually see the exchange and the arguments that she makes, not just for herself in her own particular situation, but for most people that are using the Affordable Care Act as their primary source of health insurance.
And replace Obamacare, and get states the flexibility that they need to make the end result really, really good for them. Very complicated issues, an unbelievably complex subject. Nobody knew that healthcare could be so complicated.
Nobody knows.
I'm sorry, Gianno, we've had, how many previous presidents tried to get healthcare law passed before President Obama did? Nobody knew it was hard?
Well, President Obama surely didn't think it was hard, because he estimated that $858 million over 10 years would be what it would cost. And
Gianno, let me ask again.
Of course,
Gianno, is it possible today at 7:21 on this show, on February 28th, the last day of Black History Month, you can actually answer my question?
I'm answering the question.
No, Gianno, he just said no one knew it was this hard. How many previous presidents in the United States tried to pass a health care law? It was more than 50 years. As a matter of fact, we can go back 100+ years. That means it was kind of hard. So yeah, people knew it was hard. In fact, we debated for 14 months with President Obama, the first 14 months over health care. It was hard.
Exactly, and President Obama sees the ramifications of how hard it was because the law isn't working.
Right, no. So here's a president, President Obama, who got something done, and it's an example in terms of his own legacy that's going to just get better with time, because when you make a systemic change for the better for people, you have town halls where people are talking about how they don't want their health care changed. When you make a systemic change for the better, you can't just come in as the next president and rip it out. And that's what they're finding out right now.
Did President Obama lie about Obamacare? Did he not say that you can keep your own doctor? That was a lie, was it not?
What he said was
that an alternative path?
Some people actually did get to keep their own doctors.
Some people, he said everyone.
What you really have to do is stop taking the whole of what Obamacare, the Affordable Care Act, did, and try to say that because a fraction of the people in our country, yes, and by fraction I mean a small percentage compared to the whole. If you look at 80% of the people who actually get their health care from their their employer, and then you look at the rest of the percentage of people who get it from government programs that stayed in place, and then you have a much smaller amount who get it off of the exchanges. And those are the people that we're arguing about, and those are the people who are in the town halls right now. People like me, whose child is on special needs and would not have insurance because of a pre-existing condition. So when you sit here and tell me that it does not work, I can look at you and say you are lying, because I'm the evidence of the fact that it works. And I'm not a small...
All right, let me stop it right there. Okay, and what she could have added to the mix was that, yeah, just giving you the numbers, approximately 80% of people who have health care, okay, are covered either under their employer, okay, which is the majority, and then you have people that are covered under Medicare, people, 65 years old, they're covered under Medicare, and then you have a small percentage that are covered under Medicaid, okay, that's health care for really, poor people. And then you have the 6% that don't fall in any of those categories that had to go out and buy insurance through the ACA. Okay, but what they failed to mention is, yeah, it's 6% of the people that the Republicans want to talk about, but they don't want to talk about the other 90% of the people who saw positive benefits from the ACA, i.e. specifically allowing their kids to stay on the plan until they're 26 years old. That is an absolute phenomenal benefit, okay? As far as pre-existing conditions, insurance companies not being able to deny either coverage or paying claims because of pre-existing conditions. That got kicked out. That is also a phenomenal benefit. Okay, the insurance companies were forced to pay for preventative care, i.e. You get free colonoscopies, free mammograms, anything that's care to prevent a major illness. That is free. Okay, women having to pay, the ability for women to pay the same amount as far as premiums are concerned, or for as far as plans are concerned for coverage versus men. That is a major accomplishment, okay? Because obviously, if you're not aware of it, there are more women in this country than men, so that particular function helped the quote-unquote majority of people covered under insurance. Now, she's going to jump into the specifics. And when you're on the wrong side of a bad argument, sometimes it's best to shut up. And he basically was trying to push a bad position, and he's going to get blown up because Monique, there's one thing about her, she is prepared, and she's absolutely going to nail him as far as numbers are concerned, and she doesn't even throw out all the numbers that she could. Here we go.
Number of people. There are 4 million children just on the autism spectrum alone. Is 4 million a small number? Cancer, heart disease, liver disease. These are all people who would have died and are standing up now and saying, because of this program, people have to give me insurance, so I can't go to a hospital and then refuse to treat me. That's not just one. Let's talk about another one. The young people who actually still get insurance.
So no
We
matter
think
how
it's going to stay. We don't know. We don't know, because after 6 years we still don't have a plan.
Hold on, I need to get
Do you
you.
have a plan?
I need to get you a life raft,
Do you have a
Gianno.
plan?
Go ahead.
Plan. Do you have the plan? Because you're saying things are going
No,
to stay.
this has been the
and
pillar of the
6 years-
conversation. This has continued
And
to be
all
the
we're
pillar of the
having is a
conversation.
conversation while other people
Hold
actually...
on.
Let me stop it right there. He said something about 45 seconds back that all of those good things that she was mentioning are going to be in the plan. You can't say that because he doesn't know what the plan is going to be. And if you ask a Republican, a high-standing Republican today, what's the plan? They can't answer it. The Republicans obviously have been trying to repeal, not replace, just repeal Obamacare for the past 6.5 years. You would think that if they believed that they were going to be successful, okay, that they would have had a plan formulated already. But nope, all they used the Affordable Care Act for was a target in order to rally their base. But when it comes time to actually legislate for a fix or a change or a benefit to the American people, they were left wanting. And for the past 6.5 years, that is more than enough time, okay, for them to have come up with a plan. The Obama administration came up with the Affordable Care Act over a 14-month period. Were there problems with it? Absolutely. Not going to sit here and try to defend a bad position. But the overall benefit to the people translated into the lowest amount of uninsured people in the history of this country as far as long as they've been keeping statistics. So that is a big plus. And as far as I'm concerned, they needed to fix it, not to repeal and replace it, because there is no replacement. If you recall, President Trump, as a campaign pledge and also as president, said that they were going to repeal and replace, and that we were going to have a program that was better. It was going to cover everybody. It was going to cover them for superior health care, and it was going to be cheaper. There is no goddamn way that that's going to happen unless they basically just go in there and go to a single payer program with mandated benefits, okay, and mandated taxes coming out to pay for the program. That's just it in a nutshell. I don't care what anybody says. They're not going to be able to do anything else if he's going to keep his promise. That being said, Mr. Caldwell, on this one, you really should have just shut up and cut your losses, because she's got you cold.
Sure.
Okay, make your point, then I'm going to Avis.
So keep being able to get insurance for pre-existing conditions has been the pillar of every Republican conversation. That isn't something new since they've been talking about repealing.
I'm sorry. The Republican.
Let me stop him there. Yes, he is right. That has been the pillar of every conversation. The keeping your kids on till 26, the no pre-existing conditions, those are the number one likes of the American people. So of course, in every conversation, those two things are going to be brought up as far as staying in or being part of any plan that the GOP comes up with. The problem is the GOP can not come up with a plan that gets support from their entire caucus. All right, they're talking about some states do not want the Medicare expansion block granted down to the states because people will get thrown off of coverage. Those are particularly the governors that took just the Medicare expansion without the actual exchange pieces that the law proposed. So now you have Republican governors that don't want that to happen. There's a whole mirage of things that people are looking at, and various factions want to be in whatever is new, and they just cannot agree.
Conversation or the Republican plan we have yet to see in 9 years,
or the Obama plan.
No. Hold on. You just said Gianno. You just said the Republican conversation. Right. Where is, please, the Republican plan? It's been 9 years. I'm still waiting. Where is it?
And that's great, because
where is the plan
of an administration and their work?
Wait, hold up. I'm sorry. You've had 50 repeal votes. I have yet to see a plan from the GOP. Where is it?
And as we know, and as President Obama knows, healthcare is complex.
Tiffany.
No. And that's why they're taking their time to.
See, and that's what happens when you push a bad position. You got to sit up there and start bullshitting, trying to bullshit your way through something where all you needed to say was, "Hey, Roland, you're absolutely right. They didn't like it for whatever reason. They were trying to repeal it, and they didn't think it was going to happen. And now that it has, we got to come up with something. It's got to be good, and we better come up with something damn soon." That's basically what he should have said to get away from it.
Where is it?
And as we know, and as President Obama knows, healthcare is complex.
Tiffany.
No. And that's why they're taking their time to draft the appropriate measure to replace.
One second, Tiffany.
Now they're all eating their words because a couple of months ago when we were talking in October and November, everybody was super upset and saying the first thing we're going to do is repeal the Affordable Care Act. Repeal and replace. That was the law of the land. We're going to make this law and order, repeal and replace. This is his first agenda item. Now, because he can't do it in one day and assign the EO and say, this is what I want to do, take a picture and put it on the news, he's saying, oh, it's a little bit more difficult than I thought it was going to be. And I am expecting that his voters, the people who voted him in office, are one, going to suffer from this act that's going to happen. Two, are going to see, okay, maybe it's not as easy as we thought it was, but this is also something we should give President Obama credit for because he did a fantastic job considering the circumstances.
It's costing us a lot of money.
It's costing us a lot of money, and folks are losing health care. And so we talk about the future agenda, Roland. If he's going to continue to do this,
keep it real.
can you keep it real? Yeah, let's keep it all.
I know. I'm gonna keep it real. I'm gonna keep it real like a surprise on my part. Go ahead, Avis. Avis, go ahead. Gianno,
Let's keep
Avis
it
is
all
talking.
very real. If we were to have what the Republicans wanted to have, those people you mentioned would be dead today. Let's keep it all the way real because you had every opportunity in the world to pass health care before President Obama came into office, and you didn't do it. And every time, and when he did push this through, you did everything, not you personally, obviously, but Republicans did everything humanly possible to stop it in its tracks. And all the time you had, I think it was closer to 60 votes to repeal it. They had 9 years to work on replacement. They lied every time they said we're going to repeal and replace, because if they actually had a plan to replace, we would have seen it by now.
No, you got a new president in the White House.
And then he would have got it on day one if they had it ready. If they had it ready, when he was signing all those other executive orders, when he had and he has both houses of Congress, they had 9 years to work on a plan. If they really had a plan together, they could have pushed through a bill immediately, and he could have signed it immediately.
But
they lied to the American people. They don't have a bill.
Nah.
They didn't have a bill, and they don't have one now.
Hold up, Gianno. Now we're hearing, man, we're not gonna have anything till 2018. Do what? You had 9 years. You had 9 years. I mean, you need 2 more.
So we just got a health secretary confirmed who is going to be.
Who was a member? Who was a member of?
Okay, again, pushing a bad situation. And when he opened his mouth about the health secretary did have a plan, and the Republicans aren't buying the health secretary's plan. Okay, look it up. Price is the Health and Human Services Secretary of Health and Human Services, and I believe you can go online. I saw it. And the only way I would have seen it is online. So you should be able to go online and take a look at what his plan proposed. Again, pushing a bad position, Gianno. Sorry.
Congress, who supposedly had a plan.
So, Roland, what did you say? You said that President Obama entered office, and for 18 months they were trying to get health care figured out.
No, actually, right? No, that's not actually. If you don't quote me,
okay,
quote me correctly.
Okay.
What I first said was that we had more than 50 years, multiple presidents who tried to get a health care law passed, could not do it.
Correct.
For the first 14 months of President Barack Obama's tenure, we debated the issue of health care. A plan was actually presented. A plan was worked on. You had compromise.
How long
1 second you had concessions, and it took 14 months. What I'm trying to say is this here, but we had Republicans who took more than 50 votes to repeal and replace it. They kept saying, we have a plan. We have a plan. We know what it works.
And there's a-
I They kept. Well, where is it? I'm still waiting.
Roland, did they ever say that they had a plan, or they said they didn't like the plan we have now?
Well,
I don't really think
they said we had a plan.
because we never saw it. I never saw plans.
Well, that was like somebody.
Anyway, just an example, folks. When you have a bad position, when you are in a bad position, you should be able to realize that you are in a bad position and escape as quickly as possible with as little damage done as possible. Mr. Caldwell, basically should have said his 2 cents and then just allowed the conversation to evolve or go on around him, and said as little as possible when Roland Martin basically came to him. I want to say attack, but posed a question to him, which would have been, in my opinion, if I want to be nice, I'll call that question probing. Somebody else might say the question was demeaning, but that's, somebody else.